Drag makeup tutorial, baby. Let's go. So once again, we're starting by taking off that shirt and popping on that wig cap and cleaning the sides of that face with rubbing alcohol and tissue. Now we apply Prozaid to the spots that we are planning on applying the face tapes to, as you shall see. Ah, yes, there we go. We also gave a quick clean to the old eyebrows there. And the face tapes are being applied, patting dry the Prozaid that did not dry naturally in time for face tape application. 4 tapes in total, 2 underneath the sideburns to pull up the excess cheek skin, and I have a lot, and then 2 above the eyebrows. The classic purple Elmer's glue stick. I could not find the brush of the mascara brush that I own, so I used the back end of it and my finger. Second layer of Elmer's glue, just to really lock those eyebrows down. My expensive face primer, super fancy for the porically challenged. A, what do you call this color? Orange. To counter the bluish shadow of my 5 o'clockness. Powdering that into place because it is cream and must be locked down with powder, and drying the eyebrows with a hair dryer and powdering just to make sure that it is absolutely dry up there. Now we are popping in some black contact lenses, my favorite. Very easy to wear and to see through. There's a slight black halo, but that's about it. Just outlining the pattern that I plan on using. For my eyes. I plan from the get-go to do a kind of gouged eyes look. So I was just sketching that out and placing a headband around the wig cap to keep the wig cap from moving and to keep the face tapes in place as well. And putting, not spirit gum, Prozaid around my eyes, where I plan on adding the scar wax that you see currently. You gotta pull it out of the container, roll it into a little sausage, and then place it over the mostly dry Prozaid, and then blend one edge of it into your skin, which is what I did. Scar wax is difficult and annoying to use. It sticks to your fingers, it sticks in places that you don't want. But I've learned over time that the less you fiddle with it, the better it usually ends up. I was just adding some detail there, by the way, with tweezers. Some scratch detail, skin detail, and applying a layer of liquid latex over the top of the scar wax. And now eye number 2, same exact thing. Apply that scar wax, blend it out. Try to fiddle with it. Not so much. And then put a layer of liquid latex on top after adding some detail with tweezers, which is coming up, trust me. You see? What did I tell ya? Using Q-tips pretty much for everything. I got a big old box of them, and I've been using them liberally. I was struck, by the way, in this moment with a sudden idea. Had not planned this from the get-go, but I'm very glad that I did it. Glue my lip up to give me that ultra, oh shoot, I forget what it's called. That kind of lip. I just used spirit gum and glued that lip up there, just pressed it against my flesh, and then put a layer of liquid latex on top of that to really lock it in place. I've tried this a couple of times and have failed a couple of times. It has, in the past, started to come undone in the middle of the makeup look, but the liquid latex and the way that I applied it really locked it into place this time, and the lip stayed put the entire time. Applying a layer of my base color foundation using a liquid foundation. This is a MAC foundation. I think it's called like the Studio Fix, something like that. It's another sort of, shall we say, fancy makeup product. And by fancy, I mean freaking expensive, but worth it because I think it looks beautiful and covers well enough. Perhaps not for the stage. I haven't tried it out on the stage yet, but for these purposes, it works very, very well. And I always make sure to apply an extra layer to my beard area. That is important. I just blended that out with a beauty blender. And now I'm taking another fancy MAC product, highlighter, concealer situation, and just highlighting my face with that, following a shape that I've used many times over, and blending that out again with the beauty blender from the edges towards the center of each section of highlight, and applying some of that to my neck, skipping over my Adam's apple. A quick sip of coffee is certainly necessary. And adding contour with another MAC liquid thing. Applying, bloopity doopity doop, and blendy wendy. Yes, there we go. Blendy Wendy, indeed. Wendy's is a tasty burger as well. Adding that to the neck. And adding a darker color, teeny tiny bit towards the edges of my face and the edges of my neck, just to add that extra oomph, that extra pop of shadow. And blending it all out, of course, with the magic sponge. Fixing a couple things that went wrong. Things always go wrong. That's just the nature of the beast. And sometimes you should fix them and sometimes you should leave them. And it's kind of a touch and go, which you should do. Contouring and highlighting the nose with the liquid foundation. You know, the magic with the nose really happens with the powder, but yeah, I always lay a foundation with the liquid. It can be a little sloppy, though, I think. You know, I could be wrong. Maybe that's why my nose is such a challenge when I get to the powder, because I'm sloppy with the liquid. So I powdered my face, locking everything down after giving it some time to dry, the liquid foundation. Let it dry, put some powder on it, and then went in with a cream black stick into the eye sockets as the base layer. Now I'm just setting that with black eyeshadow to lock it in place. Still doing that. Yes, indeed. Indeedly do. And now I believe I'm adding a sort of like reddish brown pigment. What I did with these eyes was I went back in with multiple different cream colors and tried to create a kind of fade effect from the center outwards. The center being jet black, getting progressively redder and lighter towards the edges. And blending that out quickly with my finger and setting everything with a translucent powder, which, by the way, is the same powder that I used to set my face. Now I'm going back in with a pressed powder, which I nowadays always use for highlight and contour. Powders, pressed powder. Same thing there with the contour. Just making it what the foundations that I laid with the liquid makeup pop. There goes that nose. I told you the powder is when it really starts to come to life. Just, laid it down and then blended it out. Now a little pop of a pressed white powder. Teeny little pop on the spots that, you want to make the most pronounced. Now adding some eyebrows with an eyeshadow color from an eyeshadow palette, I should say, I suppose. I always start with the lightest color possible in case I despise the eyebrow shape that I have drawn, which is more often than not. But once I've decided that it's good, I start to go back in with darker colors, moving slowly and progressively from light to dark to give it dimension. Added some white highlight under that to give the illusion of brow bone and make the eyebrows pop even more. And now I'm going in with a cream white stick and just sort of highlighting the edge of that scar wax to really make that sort of torn fleshish thing that we've got going on there pop. And setting that with a white powder. I think I did that already, and now I'm going in with a purple color and starting to create some bruise effects around those torn eyes. Purple eyeshadow. Now, I ended up going further than I perhaps should have with the purple eyeshadow, and I don't know if you can see it yet, but I unintentionally highlighted the edge of the scar wax. In the teeny tiny microscopic space between the blended scar wax and my skin, the makeup caught and created a harsh line. It is showing up clear as day right now. I hope you can see it. So rather than give up, which I have done, I decided to use that and create a kind of black eye highlight with yellow and white. In the images of black eyes that I've studied for makeup purposes, I have noticed that oftentimes there is a kind of ring around the eye, as you see there, and the purple shows up a little further down the face, if that makes sense. Fumbling and bumbling a little bit here, but this is only my second time doing this, providing commentary, that is, for a high-speed makeup session, so bear with me. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think that I am working on the interior of the eye a little bit more, and now I am working on the eyebrows a little bit more. I think I'm adding a darker color to make them pop further, going off of what I have done around the eyes, and now highlighting them a bit further. The eyes became more extreme, and therefore the other components of my face had to become more extreme. And now I'm adding some blush. Gotta love that blush. I said in the last video that I have historically tended to leave blush out, and have learned that that is a mistake. You gotta put that in there. And now we're starting to fool around with the lips. I tried a pink color real quick, decided that I was not for it, so we went back in with a red liquid lipstick. I love this lipstick. My goodness, I love a nice red lip. And I did that, and then started to add some bruise effects to the corners of my mouth. And I wanted to keep these kind of uneven. I like the sort of like unnerving effect of having one side of the mouth shaded upwards and the other shaded down. Once I decided that I enjoyed the base shape there, I expanded on it further, which you can see using a couple colors for all of the bruise stuff. Purple, a dark blue, yellow, and green have been the colors that I've been going for. And I added some under the nose as well, and onto the top part of my lip. And then I continued to do that, and then I went in and started to highlight the corners of the lip. And this was to cover up some makeup that had spilled in places that it shouldn't have. Adding that white in there, but it ended up working out nicely anyway. I enjoyed this little white highlight around the lip, but it was totally an accident. This is an excellent example of rolling with the punches. And then I sprayed it down just to lock it all in place and to create a kind of seal onto which I could apply the shimmer highlight, the good old shimmer, sparkly beautifulness, and the lip gloss. Oh, I do love me some lip gloss as well. It really makes this stuff pop. And blood gel. Blood gel, the most difficult, annoying substance ever. It is super, super thick. It sticks. It doesn't always stick to you, but it sticks to the makeup and then takes the makeup off with it onto the Q-tip. But I, kind of figured out the motions that were necessary to get it to stick to the skin, and applied it to the inside of the eyes, and then I started to apply a little bit of it to the outer edges of the eyes, as you can see. I used the built-in brush that came with the blood gel for like a second, and then switched to the good old tried and true Q-tips. One more last-minute highlight to the brow before I start to really take that blood outside of the eye area over the brows and beyond. I think I'm just continuing to fine detail the blood gel, putting it on the corners of my mouth after a nice chug of coffee. Had to get that in there before the final touches to the mouth for perhaps obvious reasons. And another application of the gloss, and now the drippy blood. This is the liquidy blood, the standard stuff. And I just sort of created droplets in specific places and let it run down my face. And then when I was ready for the drip to stop, I just took a Q-tip and blotted the end of it and ended the cascade of blood. Now, really quickly, we're nearing the end here. Actually, not quite yet. We have a little bit to go. I forgot I have to add the fine details of the toothbrush. Oh, y'all, just wait. Just wait. Y'all, you don't even know. You don't even know what's about to hit you with that toothbrush fine detail situation. And this is me looking for the toothbrush. I couldn't find it. It disappeared completely. And then, of course, it was right in front of me the whole time. And I sprayed blood, flicking my finger across the bristles of the toothbrush all over my face. This is a classic makeup effects trick, and it adds minutely detailed blood splatter. And now, really quick, thank you guys for watching, and here's the final transformation.